So in news that everybody saw coming, James Harden wants a trade. Okay.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Okay, Ring Culture, welcome back to Ring Culture, where we play no games. We get spit game about the game we love. Before we get into this video, though, go over to my reaction page, The Nuclear Reacting, check out my sports reactions. Check out all my reactions. I react to a lot of series over there too. Y'all might love it over there. And I'm an anime fan. I'm an animation fan, so I'll react to some animation over there too. Y'all will like it. But back over here, Ring Culture. Make sure y'all like and comment down below. That's how y'all push me into the algorithm. And then I'll go get them with my content, hit them and fit them and sit with them. Subscribe and hit the bell notification so y'all can be notified for every time I upload, share my videos, and hype my channel. So it looks like there's a system failure with the Clippers. The self-proclaimed system wants to trade again for the fourth time. News reports came out earlier that James Harden was requesting a trade, and a little bit later on the day, it came out that James Harden wants to trade because he wants more money. I mean, this is the fourth time he did this, though. But there's an article that I actually want to read to y'all real quick. It's from Fadeaway World. Check this out. It says James Harden has made 4 trade requests in the last 6 years. James Harden's repeated trade requests have become a defining pattern of his career. At this point, James Harden acting out has almost become part of the NBA calendar. Exactly. We all saw this coming. Injuries heal, roster shuffle, and sooner or later, Harden's future comes up again. His latest trade request from the Los Angeles Clippers ahead of the deadline, it adds yet another chapter to a familiar pattern. Over the past 6 years, James Harden has either formally requested or actively worked towards a trade 4 different times, spanning 4 franchises in 2 conferences. Number 1, the Houston Rockets, November 16th, 2020, as Houston, James Harden considers his future with the franchise. One possible trade destination is rising to the top of his list. Houston, we have a problem, a system failure. Brooklyn, the idea of reuniting with Kevin Durant and joining Kyrie Irving is resonating with Harden. This is Adrian Wojnarowski reporting. The first domino fell in Houston after years of carrying the franchise and coming up short. James Harden didn't carry that franchise. James Harden was the one that kept coming up short in the playoffs. James Harden has a notorious history of choking in the playoffs, especially if his team gets another team to Game 7, he usually chokes. But remember, it was him going against Doc Rivers that one year, and Doc Rivers choked harder with the Clippers. And I think that was, and they won that one because Doc team was up. But anyway, Harden began signaling he wanted out. Reports surfaced at Brooklyn that Brooklyn had jumped to the top of his list. With the idea of reuniting with Kevin Durant and teaming up with Kyrie Irving, the Rockets tried to hold the line, but Harden made his dissatisfaction impossible to ignore. Less than 2 months later, on January 14th, 2021, he was traded to the Brooklyn Nets, ending an era that had defined the Rockets for nearly a decade. Number 2, the Brooklyn Nets. He went there, he wanted out. February 10th, 2021, although Brooklyn Nets guard James Harden wants to trade to the Philadelphia 76ers, he has resisted making that formal request out of fear of the public backlash that would come with acting out of a second franchise in consecutive seasons. Yeah, because James Harden, once the going gets tough, James Harden starts running. But this one move quietly, but it was no less real. Reports confirmed that he wanted out of Brooklyn and preferred the 76ers. He reportedly avoided a formal request to dodge backlash for acting out in back-to-back seasons. Behind the scenes, the wheels were already turning. On deadline day on February 10th, 2022, Brooklyn sent Harden to Philadelphia, pairing him with Joel Embiid and resetting the expectations yet again. Sorry. Number 3, the Philadelphia 76ers. Remember, he got out of Brooklyn and replaced Ben Simmons because the Sixers had got rid of Ben Simmons. The thing that was funny about this with me with the Sixers, because y'all know the Sixers is my squad. Ben Simmons was a player that played defense, above average defense, but he wouldn't shoot the ball, so he barely played offense. For James Harden, who played way, way above average offense, but barely played defense. And both players are chokers. So they just swapped. They had the same heart coming in. They swapped abilities. June 30th, 2023, Philadelphia 76ers guard has exercised his $35.6 million option for the 2023-2024 season, clearing the way for the organization and the 10-time All-Star to work together to find a trade. Adrian Wojnarowski reported on that too. By the summer of 2023, Harden's relationship with Philadelphia had frayed. He opted into his $35.6 million player option not to stay, but to facilitate a trade. It was clear he no longer saw the Sixers as a long-term home. After months of tension and public frustration, Philadelphia finally moves him to the Los Angeles Clippers on November 1st, 2023. It was his third trade request in just over 3 years. That's insane. And finally, we come to the Los Angeles Clippers. February 2nd, 2026, the Los Angeles Clippers and 11-time All-Star James Harden are working through whether the sides can find a deal by Thursday, NBA trade deadline, sources tell ESPN. Both sides are aligned in conversation together and with interested teams, sources told ESPN. Shams reported this one. Now comes the latest chapter. Harden and the Clippers are actively discussing whether a trade makes sense before the deadline. According to reports, both sides are aligned, helped by Harden's contract structure, which includes a partially guaranteed option, despite the Clippers playing their best basketball in weeks, winning 17 out of the last 21 games. Harden is once again evaluating his championship window. His championship window is closed. His championship window was closed when he entered the NBA because he don't got that kind of heart. It's insane. Highly talented, but he don't got that kind of heart. Cleveland has reportedly emerged as a serious suitor, really. And Harden holds real power thanks to his no trade clause. Statistically, Harden has still been productive, averaging 25.4 points, 8.1 assists this season. But the pattern is impossible to ignore. 4 trade situations in 6 years, 4 different directions, 4 different timelines. Whether the latest chapter ends with another move or not, Harden's career has become as much about control and leverage as it has about step back threes. Walking step back threes, by the way. He's walking when he does that triple step back. Until he finally settles, the league will keep waiting for the next request. James Harden is at the age now where I'm actually shocked he's getting suitors, but this is the last time, though. It's the same thing that with LeBron. Whenever going gets up with LeBron, he waits for the off season and he leaves. These guys are too old now to just walk on somebody else's team. I don't know why they ever had pulled that much weight because these type of diva-ass players always have this huge deficiency in their game that gets overlooked because sports media glazes them so much. James Harden is a career playoff choker. That's what he is. So he barely plays defense. And then when you get him in pressure games, do y'all remember the game 7 the Sixers had his last game with 76ers? He had 9 points. But if you watch the game, he even played worse than the 9 points suggest. He looked like he should have had 0 points in that game. He was awful. James Harden cannot take the pressure in the playoffs. He'll have like a good game, a monster game, and then he'll follow that up with a dud. It's like he seems like two different players. He's like Smoke and Stack from the Centers. One of them can play basketball and the other one can't. And when the one that can play basketball wants to take off, the one that can't comes and plays for him. Because it's like a totally different person. James Harden, and this whole, not the whole generation, but a lot of players in this era are spoiled. Prima donna-like players who are full of themselves. They have this unearned confidence. I'm not talking about their physical ability. Of course, these guys put up highlight plays, but they're not the winners that they think they are. But they walk around patting themselves on their back so hard, I'm actually shocked they don't break their arm. Kevin Durant running around saying he's the greatest scorer ever. Draymond Green saying he's the greatest defender ever. Draymond saying how his Warriors team would beat the Bulls. Curry calling himself the greatest point guard ever. LeBron calling himself the GOAT. These dudes are insane. Like they can't get enough of they can't get enough congratulating themselves. The self-adulation is insane to me. That's why I call it unearned. It's crazy. And obviously Curry has 4 rings, but Curry actively built super teams to get a couple of those rings. The same thing with LeBron James, built super teams to get rings. James Harden tried to build super teams, didn't get any rings. I guess that makes him look worse. I would say good riddance. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't understand why teams are even entertaining James Harden. It's like owners don't actually watch basketball. They just know a name and go for it. Because James Harden has a history of choking. Is your goal for your franchise to win a championship? Because why would you bring this guy in? James Harden named himself. He said he named himself a system. He is a system. His system don't work. His system has always proven to break down in the playoffs. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I think this is clownish. It's insane. And he trying to get more money. I wouldn't give him anything. But hey, a lot of these players nowadays are delusional. Always remember, we are ring culture because the whole point of the culture is to win rings. Culture. I love y'all. Hey.